Howdy all, Moglox Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. So I thought I'd do the Restore Power quest that I've never done before. It says it can only be done at night, so I'm going to have to wait for it to be night here. So while I'm waiting for that, I might as well explore this place. Get a handle on what's about to happen, maybe. Or at least loot some things. Need to save those bullets. Get back. Oh, jeez, where'd that guy come from? Okay, the blurry isn't helping, people. I'm hoping that the night, while they'll be faster, I'll be using my gun, so they should go down a little easier. There's a lot of them. And that doesn't indicate what's going to happen at night, so... I've never done one of these Restore the Power quests. I feel like a toasty zombie should be a little easier to kill. Alright. Yeah, so... I, still got this cold. I've had it for about a week now. I don't know why it won't go away. Doesn't want to go away. Every time I think it's just about gone, it seems to come back, so... I don't appreciate it, for sure. It's kind of funny. We, been playing that Final Fantasy online together, and we got off kilter. This guy is still not out of here. Why don't you come up over the wood in the back here and jump on me? Why are you so dumb? And, I heard a dog. And so, he must be in the trailer? Oh, there he is. And, so we've gotten, two of us have gotten quite a bit ahead of the third guy. There used to be four of us that played together, but one guy quit. admittedly, we play 3 days a week. 3 days a week? 2 days a week. Uh, and one of them was on Tuesday night, so he couldn't do that and get up for work easily the next morning. You know, I thought these would be where the power things are, but there's no power here. Looking at this from the outside, I assume these trailers were the generators. So now I really don't know what's supposed to happen. So the game is currently back in what, November-ish of last year, hit um its end, as you will, with the current end with the expansion Endwalker. And so it's kind of interesting. They've I don't remember exactly when they started. We weren't playing it until recently, but it's been like 14 years, I think they said, and they've got it came out and then they revamped the whole thing, which is weird. And by revamp the whole thing, I mean like redid the game. Uh, and so people really like the revamped version. And so it's got this whole storyline that started in the original version. And so there's stuff from the original version that's mentioned in the current version of the game. Not Endwalker, but the whole game changed. And so I find it interesting that I don't see how to get up to the higher level in here. Am I missing a ladder somewhere? Like, there's a ladder. But is there another way up? Am I supposed to jump off of something? That guy is still trying to get out of there. I don't see a way up in here, so... Hey, you gotta shoot him in the head. Stop wasting your bullets shooting him in the body. Alright. Oh man, I'm like out of bullets too. Great. I thought I had more bullets than this. That guy wrecked me. I just wanted to loot your good inventory over here. Where'd that vulture's trying to get me? So anyways, whoa, I almost axed the bullets. So we had, we've been playing, and each expansion, whenever they revamped it, they kind of turned it into a big ongoing storyline. Although it's honestly a weird storyline. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. What do you expect? I think there's one more box. Right here. And so basically, um, you've got honestly, I am a little confused at the storyline that I'm thinking about it. I know there's these dudes named the Askians, and they. Oh, here's a generator. This dude is still. Trying to get some space in here. Um, okay. I know it said to try and sneak in and do this. So I'm gonna try sneak in and do this. So they wanted to try and save the planet. No, the the star system. Oh wow, it's a long. Yeah, I'm not surviving that. Wow. I guess I should have been a little more stealthy. I wasn't stealthy. I get it. I wasn't prepared for that. Okay. So uh I don't know. There's some kind of thing where the star. I'm honestly struggling here to remember exactly how this works. There's something about. I know the star has been split into 8 parts, but I don't remember why. And um and I think they were attempting to save their star system. No, it can't be right because they're trying to recombine the star systems. Whatever they did, they split the star, like a multiverse kind of thing, into 8 different multiverses. And maybe it was so their star didn't die. You know, at the end of a star's life. Oop, that's not medicine. I almost tried to put bullets in there. It's not medicine. I don't know why I'm can't just put medicine all in here where medicine goes and food in where food goes. And so uh what happens then is that the stars converge back together with whatever it is that they've done, and um, oof, that's a. I'm gonna try and get my mini bike back in the dark here. That's a long run, and so when the two stars converge with each other, it destroys the two multiverses, right? And the goal then is for the eight, I think it's eight multiverses to collapse back into one and rebirth the original Askian star system. But it's also like each of the eight is a pale comparison to the original, and so it's kind of like they strip down strip down their universe to make a lesser universe. Anyways, so the original version of the game, I guess, is considered one of those pale comparison ones. And then when it tried to converge, they threw up some magic that stopped it from happening. And so that's the world you start in. Um, but because of what they did, people don't have any of their memories anymore from what happened in the first game. And so they basically start out at the moment the. Wow, I can't hit this guy. Uh, they started at the moment that the magic was cast, and so nobody has memories of what took place before. But you do find out some of it as the game progresses, um, and uh, and so over the course of all the expansions, um, it tells a story of. Although to me the stories are weird because they jump around a lot, and it's not like a continuous storyline. Although it's all contained within a single. Oh, I see you, Wolf. I let you. I didn't shoot at you because you were just standing there. But oh no, I see you join up with the zombies. I thought that shadow was something coming to get me. Uh, and so like, hey buddy. So like in the first game, or in the first expansion, you don't know what's going on, and uh, all you know is uh, this guy is uh, using the Garlean Empire to do something. And I'm not sure you even learn what that is by the end of it, but you do find out he's an Askian. He doesn't have a physical body, and so he possesses one of the. You're a member of a group called the. Are they called like the Scions of Dawn or something like that? I don't remember. Uh, and so basically, you're a group of heroes that go out and or adventurers that go out and solve problems that the governments can't really work with. and so they're NPC members of the group, and so they possess one of those guys, and then you face off against the not the Empire itself, but the whoops, but the one of the outposts, uh, basically. But they've been experimenting to create the ultimate weapon, which is a Final Fantasy character bad guy thing. And so when you face off against the dude, you fight your way down through his outpost into the hangar bay where the ultimate weapon is currently being stored, and then he activates the ultimate weapon, and then you fight him, and but because it's oh because it's an MMO, uh, some of the fights leading up to it are like by yourself. Some of the fights are in a group of 4. Some of the fights are in a group of 8. I don't think there's anything bigger than 8. I mean, there is definitely things bigger than 8, but I don't think there's anything bigger than 8 for the main story stuff. I think 8's the biggest fights. So you get 8 other players jump in, which is one of the things I did like, or I do like about the game, is that you don't have to have a team of 8 who jump on at the same time to go do the big missions. You just say you want to do the big mission, and then when 8 people get lined up to do the big mission, you pop in. But usually what you do is you people get on and they put themselves in the queue to do a dungeon, and then they will just group people together based on specific dungeons that people need to do. So like if you need to do the storyline dungeon, then you queue yourself for the storyline dungeon, and then other people who just queued themselves for a random dungeon will get put into that dungeon for you. But they have to be the right makeup. So like 2 fighters, 2 healers, and everybody else is DPS, right? For an 8-man thing. A team is a fighter, a healer, and 2 DPS. But yeah, so it's the stage there where the Askians are trying to control things from behind the scenes, and then every expansion is pretty much is a different Askian trying to manipulate things to get to the point where the world is back into their original world. But for me, the storyline gets really weird because in the first game, or in the first expansion, you fight the Garlean Empire, and then like in the second expansion, you go after the Garlean Empire, and they send like some of their higher ups to stop you, and you lose. You lose this big battle where like people are killed and members on your team are gravely wounded and stuff like that. And then your guys are like, "Meh, all right, well, we're gonna move off to this other place." And I'm like, "What? Shouldn't we be trying to help the people who are under attack right now? Like, I don't. Why is this the storyline?" And so it's very weird to me that this happens, because like you put all this effort into fighting back against the Garlean Empire, and then your guy, the storyline just takes your guy to a completely different section of the map that you've never been to before. But after the rebels you've been working with are nearly wiped out. And so I find that weird that you don't stay and fight back. I mean, you do fight back in the end, but it's weird that it jumps to a totally different section, you know? And so then uh, that keeps happening. It keeps happening over and over, which I find weird. Um, and so then, like, you end up going to like an Asian inspired um, section of the game, and you deal with all that. And there's like this whole dragon sub storyline that doesn't really play out into too much. There's a whole like dragon war that you go through that's pretty cool. Um, uh, because they do this thing where they've got the main storyline, and then in between expansions, they release free content which tells another story leading up to the new expansion. And so there's like the fight against Garleand, and then after you defeat the outpost, then it switches over to like this dragon war, and then I think, and then it goes back to fighting the Garleans, but in a different area, right? Or maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe the Dragon War was the expansion, and then the in between stuff was the Garlean stuff. Anyways, eventually your rebels get wiped out, and then you go to this other place, and they're also fighting against the Garlean Empire, but it's a different section of the Garlean Empire, and so you help those guys reclaim their palace, their kingdom, and then you go back to fighting in a different section, but near the people who got wiped out. And I'm just like, I don't understand why we didn't stay and help. I feel like we should have stayed and helped. Um, and so, and then, and then later, uh, later it does this thing where the Garlean Empire, um, the guy you defeated in the first game shows back up, but now he's on your side, sort of, and he helps create this shield that will block the Garlean Empire from being able to invade, like a big magic shield that crosses a huge swath of desert. And so that's going to stop the Garlean Empire from invading, but they've released a disease that is killing people everywhere, and it's really strange because when they release that disease, I'm like, okay, we got to find the cure for this thing. And then the game is just like, so now you're going to get teleported to another world with a completely different storyline that has nothing to do with this disease. But you're going to keep getting flashbacks to how this disease is killing everybody. And I'm like, what in the world? Why am I now in another? You're literally teleport to one of the other multiverses for a storyline that takes up the whole expansion. I mean, eventually you do get a cure to that disease, but all right. Let's see. I've got. Did I not get any aloe vera seeds? I got yucca and potato and corn, but no aloe vera seeds. Well, that's disappointing. How am I supposed to get ahead of the game if you don't give me any seeds? And so then you do this thing where the whole dimension is in the process of being wiped out by the merging, and so you try and stop that, um, and I think you do in the end stop it. And then okay, I only need 4 of these. And then you jump back to the main world where, your big storyline's going on. And you keep, for a bit, you just keep going back and then jumping back out. And I'm just like, I need to stay with what's going on my planet and, stop this stuff. I don't understand why we keep leaving. Um, And so then we made it to Endwalker, and so Endwalker is the finale to the Askian storyline, and it too is a weird departure from what was happening, and so we did jump out uh, to I don't know how much does I even need. All right. We did jump out to like the past, and so like this whole time we've been fighting against the Askians, fighting the Askians. The Garleans are being controlled by the Askians. The Askians are collapsing the multiverses. The Askians are doing all this stuff, and then you have this big fight out against this Askian god that they had trapped, and you release the god and fight it, and then it's like, ha ha ha, that was my plan all along. And uh, and so it was weird. Uh, it was definitely a weird. I don't. I think I just used my bottles here, right? Um, okay, none of this goes in here. You're not even food. And so we get to the Endwalker, and all the ASCII and stuff is going on, and then we decide. I don't even remember why. It's been a while. We decide that we're gonna send my guy back in time to see what the deal is with the Askians. And so you get sent all the way back to when the Askian world was still whole. Now, remember, all the way up to this point, we've been dealing with the fact that the world had been split into like multiple parts, and now they're converging back together. And every time they converge, a multiverse full of people who aren't the people that are going to be there when it converges are destroyed. And we're trying to put a stop to that. And so we go back in time, and when I'm back in time, uh, you find you find out that the goddess who's been helping you is an Askian, and um, on top of that, uh, they're not even the bad guys at this point. The One of the Askians made this thing that was supposed to scour the universe for other intelligent life, and sent out multiple copies of this creature. Um, it looks like a girl with wings coming off the side of her head, and so when they requested the reports on how many intelligent civilizations were found, the answer was none. Every intelligent civilization that the creatures had found were either in the process of wiping themselves out or had been wiped out by things they had done. And so the creature went insane. and felt that the universe's only purpose was sorrow and despair, and it would be better that nothing had ever been born than to have to go through all of that. And so uh, the goddess Heidlin, I forget what her actual name is, but Heidlin attempts to stop it when it flies away and can't catch it. It's too fast. And so when Endwalker, after that point, um, you had been trying to since the star was going to collapse on itself. You had found that Heidlin um, had prepared a ark to save the people from the planet, and so instead you use that ark with some other technology that you got your hands on to basically hyper jump your way out to where um, Medion is, which is the creature, and so once you got there, Medion is like, this place is dead and collapsing, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then your people sacrifice themselves one by one to rebuild sections of the dead world so that you can get to, basically, they're building bridges from their hope. And so it allows you to move on to each of the new sections. And and so now we're at the end. Two of us made it to the very end of the game. We're at the final fight, basically. And so we're waiting for the third guy to catch up so we can all do the final fight together. And so yeah, so we were hanging out last night while he was working on that, and he's like, "Yep, I've only got 6 quests, 6 or 7 quests to get to where you guys are at." And then we sat around chatting for a couple hours while he was playing the game, and then it gets to our quitting time, and he's like, "Yep, I've got 4 quests left to do to catch up to." I'm like, "Yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes in this last part." Um, but yeah, and then real quick, the other thing that I did this weekend, I wanted to talk about that I got sidetracked by Final Fantasy hardcore. Was I watched the Old Man, which is Jeff Bridges and right. So last night I couldn't remember the Jeff Bridges' name. Now I can't remember the other guy's name. John Lithgow. And it's pretty good. I mean, it's an action series. So there's not a lot of like this could really happen thought process, but basically, I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm rather enjoying it. And the John, no, Jeff Bridges is an ex CIA operative who had gone rogue during like the Russian Afghanistan war and was helping a group of people in Afghanistan fight back against the Russians, but they weren't the people that the United States wanted to help. And so he was told to come in, and he didn't. And so when all fell out, he had returned to the United States with a wife who uh, who was the wife of the person I think he was helping. And so they went into hiding, uh, and then raised a daughter, and then the wife died, and now it's like 30 years later, a little over 30 years later, and that guy is now favored by the United States. And so, as payment for whatever it is he's doing for them, he wants Jeff Bridges. And so they they open up the 30-year-old case and start trying to hunt down Jeff Bridges. Uh, and they bring John Lithgow, who was his handler at the time, 30 some years ago, who's now higher up in the FBI, to run the manhunt to bring in Jeff Bridges. So it's actiony. It's pretty good. Um, although I have to say that when they talked about his daughter and how his daughter's in hiding, and then they show John Lithgow, and John Lithgow has two people working directly for him that he's are part of his office that he depends on, and one of them is a woman. I'm like, that's her. That is totally Jeff Bridges' daughter, who's in hiding as John Lithgow's right hand person. They haven't said that yet because I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But yeah, it's pretty enjoyable so far. So with that, be brand small things, lean to the light, and I will talk to you later.